But who cares if that person is listening and sitting there? I mean, that person loved it. She was smiling.
As many of you heard about it by now, last week, Gonzalo Lira, the dude running several YouTube channels, including the coach Red Pill, died in a Ukrainian prison. For those of you who don't know, he was a former dating coach turned pro-Russian shill living in Ukraine. In recent years, he stopped talking about dating dynamics and women, which was his main focus back when he grew his audience. Then he shifted his grift to pro-Russian politics. When it got him the attention and spotlight he was craving so badly.
It's over. The Russians have won.
Under his Coach Red Pill channel, it was a channel with shades of dating coach and MTOV. He died last week in a Ukrainian prison from the neglect by the prison or torture by other prisoners. Likely both. Now, I am not gonna say rest in peace. I am not. I can't be fake and talk good about him just because he died, because I didn't respect him when he was alive. I still remember his dating coach years. I still remember what he used to say, all the crap he used to talk. You think I forgot about all the stuff he used to say? Guys, trust and believe, everything is being noted around here. As far as his impact on young men is concerned, he did more harm than good. I'm not gonna show fake politeness because I didn't respect the way he lived and I don't respect the way he died either. He died the way he lived and I'm gonna explain why very shortly. You are gonna remember that dating coach evolution chart I made before. His case is interesting. He was actually going through exactly that evolution chart until he decided to divert at the last step. He started out as a passport bro, right? Then decided to be a dating coach. An American passport bro LARPing as a dating coach from Ukraine. Living in Ukraine, rather. Because for the first time in his life, he started having success with women. So what did he do? Instead of admitting the truth that he was just a passport bro, he attributed that success to his skills and masculinity and decided to be a dating coach. But up until that Russian-Ukraine war, rather Russian invasion, his views were declining. Russia invading Ukraine and him being a Russian shill, American so-called reporter living so close to the Russian border brought him a lot of exposure that he was craving so badly. He started getting views again.
Because, see, I'm in Kharkov, in the middle of this battle, and I can literally see the Russians getting closer every day. I can see them. I can hear the explosion of their artillery getting closer every day. I can see them winning.
Since the beginning of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, he was vehemently pro-Russia while living in Ukraine. He was calling Zelensky the cockhead of Kiev. He was giving interviews to RT, Russia Today network. As you can see here, his political prowess was just as effective and insightful as his dating advice. Truly a political genius we got here, boys. Peep this. In the West, by December 31, 2022, bread will be 5 times what it is today. Beef will be unaffordable. Gasoline will be 7 euros a liter. Comedian. Rolling blackouts. Heating will be an issue. Riots everywhere. So prepare and don't say you weren't warned. Oh wow, you are so smart, bro. You are so insightful. I see your political analysis is on par with your dating landscape analysis. He was one of the apocalypse copers. These guys have been going at it for years now. For long as I can remember. Every year, the West is falling. Every year, everything is collapsing. Oh bro, you gotta start learning Chinese. These copers are so delusional, bro. You are gonna remember the Doomsday Group, Apocalypse Group I mentioned in my biggest Manosphere Cops video. He was one of them. But then again, what do you expect? What do you expect, bro? Goes back to that meme I made. All those delusional RP, oh, you just watch. This is not sustainable. All this is gonna go away. The West will collapse. I will just bide my time. You listen to those guys and you're gonna be biding your time forever. Guys, I am telling you now, these coppers have been going at it since forever. For as long as I can remember. Oh bro, by the end of the year, none of your credit cards is gonna be working. You will have to learn how to hunt if you want meat. People will be at each other's throat.
But just know what to say and do when the moment happens.
Right. When the moment happens, when the welfare state and the family court and all this bullshit goes away and patriarchy is restored by necessity, I'll be like, all right, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys. Mm-hmm. And then I will canvass the wasteland and I'll say, where my bitches at? But until that day, I'm going to bide my time, build my nest egg. And I'm just gonna wait until all this crap, what's happening, this equality, gender, it's completely unsustainable.
A hilarious notion, idea some MTO guys love to cling on to. The West is gonna collapse. The Doomsday Group. Oh, I am just biding my time. When the West collapses and the patriarchy is restored, then the meat is gonna back on the menu, boys. Brother, you might as well just put a ring on that doll of yours, cause you are gonna keep dating that. Oh, this is unsustainable. The patriarchy is gonna be restored any day now. You just wait for it. Keep waiting, brother. Keep biding your time. Keep having romantic dinners with that doll of yours. I mean, completely delusional. Bro, like, we are at a point where they are gonna send us to the prison if we criticize the Barbie movie. You say you didn't like the Barbie movie and they are gonna bury you under a freaking prison. And you are talking about, oh, patriarchy is around the corner. Anyway now, come on, man. Their political prowess is as effective as their insight on the data market. They are right on some stuff, but just because they are right on certain matters, I can't be praising guys like Gonzalo Lira. Guys, look, I know what they say can appeal to your emotions, especially regarding how you feel about the West. But a lot of stuff they say is factually incorrect. They are just cheap populists. That is what they are. They just play to your emotions because they know you have resentment. Dating coach one day, passport bro the other, Russian shill another. You know, they will go wherever the wind blows. And of course, him being an American living in Ukraine was getting him a lot of publicity. He wouldn't get nowhere near the same attention and views if he was doing this from Russia or Hungary or any other country, really. I didn't respect the way he lived, and I don't respect the way he died either. Let me explain. In April, he got arrested finally and went to jail for a month. And the funny thing is, all that, oh, I am standing my ground, I am out here vibe went away, like Jimmy Hoffa. The moment he saw the inside of a prison cell, all of a sudden he realized that he actually needed to flee the country. People have been telling him for months, bro, you gotta leave. You have an 8-year-old. Just go be with your son. Leave Ukraine. He didn't do that. He refused to leave with his 8-year-old. He quit on his family for YouTube money. But that isn't the only reason why I don't respect him. It is also the fact that he couldn't even stand his ground like a man.
I wasn't allowed to leave the city of Kharkov or the country. Right now, I'm maybe 5 kilometers away from the border with Hungary. Over the last 2 days, I rode my bike just about 1,300 kilometers from Kharkov all the way here to the border. And my intention is to cross the border, get to Hungary, and in Hungary, I'm going to ask for political asylum. And so I was told in no uncertain terms that I had to stay in Kharkov and not leave the city under any circumstances, and of course not leave the country.
It is actually mind-blowing, like, this guy who just got out on bail with the condition of not even leaving the city, let alone the country. And the logical course of action in his mind is literally try to walk out of the border crossing, hoping that he wouldn't be on the list. Like, what? But then again, what do you expect? What do you expect, bro? Everything lines up. Of course he thought it could work out just like that. Just look at his dating market analysis. Just look at his political insight and prediction. Of course he thought that could work out. Predicting 8 o'clock at 7:30. He died the way he lived. Really.
I think it's an issue of failed fathers. Fathers have failed to educate their sons. See, there are a lot of ways to fail at being a father. The most obvious is that the man of the house, the father of the children, he leaves. He abandons the family. He leaves the woman with the children, and the woman has to fend for herself. The more extreme kind of failure as a father, and it is quite obvious, right? He split. He abandoned his family. He's a failed father. He's an awful human being.
This is the guy lecturing you about failed fathers and calling you names, by the way. The dude who quit on his 8-year-old. And for what? For YouTube views. His family left Ukraine. His 2 little children, 8 and 9-year-old. But he refused to go with them. Why? Because he wanted more YouTube views. The fact that he was in a border town as a Russian shell American, he was all about, oh, I am literally living in a war zone. I am literally reporting what I'm experiencing right now from the front lines. That was getting him a lot of views. And he knew if he moved away with his family, he wouldn't get the same international exposure. He wouldn't get those RT interviews. He quit on his family, on his 2 little children.
I'm seeing the war, literally. And I can see the Russians every day getting closer, you know? I see it. And they're telling me about the reality that I'm experiencing and claiming that it's not true.
Because I'm in Ukraine right now. I'm in the city of Kharkov. I hear, rather, the shelling every day. And the shelling gets closer every day. The mainstream media is lying to you. The Russians are winning, definitively.
Bro, that little kid needs you more than your YouTube subscribers. That kid is gonna grow up. He's gonna watch your old videos. He's gonna hear what you had to say. He's gonna understand why you moved to Ukraine, why you abandoned them. He's gonna realize what kind of father you were. And a lot of people were telling him exactly that, to get out and go be there for his family. His 8-year-old son and wife left. People have been telling him to go. Like, bro, you are calling the president a cockhead in a country like Ukraine, openly cheering for Russian invasion. They are gonna kill you. Leave the country, you idiot. Leave.
Talking about really the Zelensky regime, the most dishonorable, despicable people imaginable. This invasion, the Russian invasion, is stalled. When it's not, it's ending, actually. I mean, quite frankly, the Zelensky regime doesn't have much more than a week or 2 left. And Mariupol is about to fall. And all those fascist, thuggish, kidnapping, murdering Azov people, they're going to be hung. Yeah, they're going to be captured and hung by the Russians. The Russians have said so already. Good riddance to bad rubbish, by the way.
But no, of course not. He didn't do that. Why? Because if he did, if he moved to, let's say, Russia, let's say Hungary, he wouldn't get the same views, bro. And he knew that. Any other excuse is just a pitiful cop. Guys, look, I don't care what he had to say on why he didn't leave. Any other reason is a pitiful excuse. That is not bravery, bro. That is just stupidity. You have 2 little children who need you. 2 8-year-old children. 6-year-old at the time. They are 8 now. But here's the kicker. There is more to it than stupidity. He couldn't even stand his ground like a man. The moment push came to shove, he backpedaled. Folded like origami. That is why I say he died the way he lived.
I will be sent to a prison labor camp come my court date. That's inevitable. Okay? And there won't be any suspended sentence and there won't be any mercy, all because of my YouTube videos. I spent 2 months and change in a maximum security prison over things that I said, opinions I gave regarding publicly available information that is undisputed. This is the epitome of free speech, and yet I went to prison for it.
People have been telling him that he would get arrested, but he didn't want to leave. But the moment he actually did get arrested, all of a sudden he realized, he remembered all those Western values he claimed to hate so much. Oh, Western democracy, please contact the US Embassy for me. Freedom of speech. Wait, freedom of speech? Bro still thinks he lives in the US. You gotta understand something. As much as these guys claim to hate the US, they still operate like an American, mentally. Oh, I am not a Westerner. Yes, you are, bro. Cut the crap. Yes, you are. You think like one. You think, act, and live like a privileged American. Bro, freedom of speech is a Western value. In the West, you can call the president a cockhead and get away with it. In the US, you can call Joe Biden a cockhead. So what happened? All of a sudden, you remembered you were an American after all? I can't stand how fake these red pillars are, man. You still think like an American. Your only virtue in life is being American. The fuck are you even talking about? You have no marketable skills in the US. So instead of making the minimum wage in the US, you moved to Ukraine and became a passport bro. Got yourself a woman, finally. Thanks to your American passport and dollars. Everything you have in life is thanks to you being an American. You babbling, oh, freedom of speech, please contact the US Embassy. Wait. I thought you hated the US. Didn't even consider yourself a Westerner. What happened, bro? You have that Ukrainian wife of yours because you're an American. What, you think she married you because of your personality? Beta Box Deluxe. You can live like that in Ukraine because you are American. Because the money you make off YouTube and Patreon are in US dollars, not in Ukrainian currency, which is not worth the paper it is printed on. The US dollar goes a long way in a country like Ukraine. That is why she married you, bro. You don't work a normal, regular job like other Ukrainians, breaking your back for $300 a month. Your only virtue in life is being American. And you knew that. You knew for a fact that if you moved to US, you would go straight back to being a nobody. Straight back to watching Hammerhand videos. All the privileges and lifestyle you enjoy is coming from the fact that you are an American. The cognitive dissonance here is actually mind-boggling. Truly. I mean, I'm not saying you gotta be patriotic and stuff, but please stop coping with all that anti-Western rhetoric only to backpedal when you finally get to face the real side of being in a non-Western country. Since you hate the West so much, it shouldn't be a problem, right? But of course, once he got arrested, once he faced the reality of third world where you can get thrown into jail with no rights, then, only then, he remembered the importance of Western concepts like the rule of law, the freedom of speech. Oh, I got thrown into jail and they didn't let me call my lawyer. Please contact the US Embassy. The rule of law? Bro, that's a Western concept. In the third world, there is no rule of law. The constitution and laws are a joke. Whatever their dictator says goes. You should have known this. But he was probably betting on being an American, which he claimed to hate so much. He was probably thinking, oh, I'm an American. Nothing is gonna happen. They can't arrest me. I'm an American. At the same time, he was saying, the West is falling, guys. The West is falling. Joe Biden turned this country into a fascist dictatorship. FJB, let's go, Brandon. Welcome to the other side, brother, where there is even less freedom of speech, where there is even more corruption, more human rights violations. Like, the only reason he lived there in Ukraine is because he could milk being an American, something he claimed to hate, but clearly didn't hate enough to not take full advantage of it and milk it to the maximum. Faker than a $3 bill, man. His case is an interesting example of the BP coming to collect. I remember all those stuff he was saying before. All that crap he used to talk. You think I forgot about that video he made? I am not gonna let that slide, bro. Let me say this as clearly as I can. The dude who was rambling, oh, the sons of failed fathers. That dude sold out his own 8-year-old and 9-year-old for YouTube subscribers. Make of it what you will. The dude calling you sons of failed fathers because we are talking about looks, the importance of looks, sold out his 8-year-old son for YouTube subscribers. I want you to understand what kind of environment he condemned his own 8-year-old son to live in. I want you to understand. Just because he was too worried about e-fame. That kid, that 8-year-old, is likely gonna have to go through some brutal stuff in life. Likely gonna have to witness some unfortunate stuff at such an impressionable age. I mean, come on, guys. Single Ukrainian woman in a foreign country has 2 kids to feed on her own. Money has to come from somewhere, man. Come on, guys. Money has to come from somewhere. That 8-year-old kid will have to witness some unfortunate stuff, which will likely traumatize him. Come on, guys. I can't elaborate more. Oh, Rehab bro, what you're implying, I didn't get it. Can you elaborate more? No, I cannot. You be the judge. Who's the failed father here? Who refused to leave with his family because he was too worried about e-fame? And him being in Ukraine would be needed, absolutely, to bring him the clicks. Cause he couldn't make those sensational videos from other countries. It just wouldn't get him the same views. Simple as that. Sons of failed fathers. Bro, you quit on your own 2 8-year-old children for YouTube views. 6-year-old children at the time. Father of the year right there. How did he describe it again? His words, not mine.
He abandons the family. He leaves the woman with the children, and the woman has to fend for herself. He split. He abandoned his family. He's a failed father. He's an awful human being.
And guys, please understand something here, alright? He didn't die for some higher cause. He was no hero. He immediately backpedaled. Once there was a real threat, or rather once there was a threat he could finally understand that was real, he showed his true colors. He showed what kind of man he was. There was none of that, oh, I am out here, I will stand my ground. After he got arrested, he tried to flee. Did a 180 immediately, once he saw the inside of a prison. I wouldn't call that being brave and standing your ground. When you spent years saying how much you hate the US and how you are not a Westerner.
And so as this video goes live, at the time that it goes live, I'm going to be crossing the border. And I'm going to be hoping that my name doesn't appear on any system and that I'll be allowed through in the next couple of hours. Or I will be arrested again, and God knows what will happen to me.
A lot of red pillars online have this cognitive dissonance and hypocrisy. You see it with others as well, even if they claim to be proud Americans. They fail to realize that a lot of stuff they complain about are stemming from those American values.
What do you think all of your social disorder comes from now? What do you think all of this chaos comes from? There's been a concerted effort since the 1960s to eject God, country, and family from the average person's life. And it has overwhelmingly succeeded. Overwhelmingly succeeded. It's been more successful than I think anybody would have ever thought. It just goes to show you that people are ready to be scumbags. They are. They are. Do you have any idea how many people would take you up on the idea of outright murder if tomorrow it wasn't illegal, if there were no penalty for it?
I mean, he's not wrong here. People wouldn't take you up on that. If they knew they could get away with it, there would be no repercussions. But this signals a general lack of morality rather than lack of religion, which is a direct result of Western American values, individualism against collectivism, the culture of each man for himself, only the strong survive, whatever it takes mentality. When you promote these concepts because they have been the Anglophone cultural values for centuries, this is the result you get. What did you expect? You have that Anglo culture of the end justifies the mean, coming all the way from people like the founders and prior British libertarian philosophers that influenced those founders. The question of what is good and moral. Kantian ethics against Mill's utilitarianism. Today's Western Anglophone culture is shaped by utilitarianism, individualism, liberalism, both social and economic, American values. These people circle jerk about personal freedom, minimal government, individualism against collectivism, every man for himself, the end justifies the mean. The idea that if each individual only cared about their own interest, society would benefit collectively. The idea that the purpose of life is to live with maximum pleasures and minimum pain. Basically the whole British Anglo-Saxon individualism philosophy, both economically and socially. Now you gotta live with the consequences. But this freedom and individualism is good when it benefits them, but somehow evil when people they don't like use it to their own benefit. You can't have it both ways, bro. Oh, what happened to people, man? They would slice each other's throat if there was no prison time. What do you think has happened? Oh, they systematically removed fear of God from people. That is the reason. What is the difference if they are refraining from committing all those atrocities out of fear of hellfire and not fear of prison? Is there any difference? They are refraining from it because of the negative consequences at the end of the day, not because it is not morally right thing to do. If their religion told them killing and murdering is the right thing to do, they would do it again. They are doing it. In fact, they are doing it already. It is happening today as we speak. What does this tell you? It tells you that morality is subjective. They are all subject to the parameters of time, location, and society. Morals, right and wrong, are make-believe concepts. But yeah, wanted to talk about Gonzalo Lira for this week's video. Don't be a free agent in life.